Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show for Friday, August 31st, 2018. Welcome to the beginning of the Labor Day weekend. I hope you guys have some good plans in store for this weekend, and I hope that we make some sales during the weekend. As you know, holiday weekends are traditionally slow on eBay, so I'm just telling you that ahead of time. Don't get nervous if it's slow this weekend. In today's video, we're going to talk about your comments, questions, and concerns from last week's video, as well as a new feature that's starting to be available on eBay. And once again, we have the fitchy eBay Sellers Hall of Shame. I think you guys will want to see that too. That being said, let's get started with your questions, comments, and concerns from last week's video. On feedback, Polymer Clay Art wrote, I believe the eBay feedback system is obsolete. Too much power in the hands of the buyer, creating lots of abuses. I believe the feedback should be given on the item and not on the seller like other platforms do. Also on feedback, Barry D wrote, from time to time I will get a buyer who is haggling with me on an item. Before I respond, I will look over their feedback and their feedback left for others. I will also check and see if they're also an eBay seller. Several times I have seen that the haggler who is trying to make a deal with me leaves negs or neutral feedback, and I just tell them I'm not interested in making a deal and I block them. So this is how I leave a neg on a fitchy buyer. Has anyone ever seen a fitchy buyer's positive feedback, but in all caps it says seller beware, seller beware, seller beware, etc.? I know that it still counts as a positive feedback, but if Mr. Fitchy is abusing other sellers and you start to see seller beware, seller beware, seller beware in all caps in their feedback profile, you might want to block him. Well, the thing is, I never check feedback of a potential buyer unless the person is asking me a bunch of questions like Barry just described. In that case, I will basically check the feedback he's left for other people. And if it's iffy, then I'll have to take some kind of action. But there is actually an obscure eBay rule you may not know, that if you leave a false positive for a buyer, you could get in trouble. I've seen it happen to people, especially about 3 or 4 years ago. People were leaving false positives like buyer never paid for item or bad eBay buyer, and they got hamstrung for their troubles. So I'm just telling you, technically that's against eBay policy, but whatever. Get a Job wrote, I heard e-packets are going away. I know you heard this already, Joe, and another fine video, thank you. Question, how often do you list and how many approximately? I know you said this before, but I was curious because your sales are so good. Thank you. Well, to answer Get a Job's questions, number one, I put out a video the other day on Wednesday night talking about the e-packets. If you guys haven't seen my video, please watch it and please sign the petition. There is a movement underway to finally get the U.S. government to act on this, and it's something all of us, every one of us, as eBay sellers should be interested in. We can finally help level the playing field and stop these China sellers from selling their counterfeit crap and shipping it with these cheap e-packets, undercutting us and hurting us. It hurts every one of you. If you're an eBay seller or you Amazon sellers out there, I know you're out there too. You need to take action just as much as we do, okay? eBay and Amazon sellers, let's get together, sign that petition, and get the government to act. I think we have a damn good chance of them doing something, but they need to hear from us first, okay? And his other two questions, I would like to say I list every single day, but I certainly don't. I never list on the weekends because I'm usually out Saturday and Sunday. I try and list weekdays. My goal is for 5 listings per day, but I rarely attain that. Usually I'll go in spurts. Like, I won't list Monday and Tuesday, Then Wednesday I'll list 7 items. Then I'll miss Thursday. Then Friday I'll list 8 items. Something like that. But that just gives you an idea. On the global shipping program, Debbie Alvarez wrote, "Hi Joe, people listen to you, so here's something I think worth passing on. I called eBay and asked how item not as described works with the global international shipping program. Even if you have a no return policy and if the buyer says item not as described, you have to accept the return and you have to pay the total cost from their country to the US, plus customs. I think sellers should know this. I opted out. Not worth taking the chance. Thank you, Joe." I've been with the global shipping program for about 5 years, and thankfully I've never had a return. But she's right. A return through the global shipping program can be very, very costly to you, the seller. As I said, I'm very lucky. It's never happened to me, but that's something you just want to keep in mind. On the USPS scammer listings that we talked about last week, Crosswalk Larry wrote, "Some new sellers with US padded USPS envelopes for sale on eBay. Get to work, people." And I agree with him. If you see eBay sellers selling free USPS items, you should report them, either to the USPS on the website I showed you last week or to eBay. But I think it would be better to report them to the USPS because they have more clout. On SNAD cases, John Eastock wrote, "Joe, my gripes with the SNAD item not as described cases is that the automated system sees not working as the seller sold a defective product, even though the buyer bought the wrong item. Also, the 4 options the seller has: accept return, offer partial refund, full refund with buyer keeping the item, and contact the buyer has a glitch. When contacting the buyer through the system, it still shows that you, the seller, have not done anything, even though you're communicating with them. Not good. I usually call eBay to explain." Yes, always stay on top of your item not as described cases. As soon as you get one of them, please answer it promptly and professionally. Here's an interesting one on product reviews from E. Dennis. "I discovered a problem with one of my listings last night. eBay decided to place a blistering 1-star review for an unrelated item sold by a different seller on my listing. My item is a vintage handcrafted one-of-a-kind ring. Nobody is qualified to review it but the person who buys it. But this review was placed on my listing. Ugly ring, stones are fake. I've been a power seller, TRS, for years with almost 4,100% feedback. But what good is that when eBay can libel my reputation like that?" And Mercedes Lux replied to him with, "This is what happens with eBay's new seller metric system. When a seller sells same item that other sellers sell, eBay does a cross comparison. They are placing seller against seller. Hence, if another seller receives a bad review for their item, the same item other sellers are selling, this review is placed on all items of the same for every seller with this item. This is not fair what eBay is doing. It is wrong." I have been noticing this for quite a long time, and I myself have been a victim of it. A while back I was selling a Ford center cap, a factory Ford center cap, and it had product reviews and they were quite low. So I clicked on the product reviews and they were for other sellers who sold counterfeit reproductions of that Ford center cap. Now I can understand a buyer leaving low product reviews for a seller, a fitchy seller, who's selling cheap China crap and representing it as the real thing. That is fair. But eBay is not distinguishing between the cheap China crap and the legit Ford stuff that I'm selling, and I got the bad review. So I totally agree with what these 2 people said. It's true and it's happening. Back then I called eBay and made a complaint. And the representative said to me not to worry about it, basically that it applies to all sellers, hogwash. Of course, this was over 2 years ago, before I had eBay Concierge. Now, Jason Bandy wrote in talking about sellers who bend over for fitchy buyers. We talked about this last week. Here's his comment. Just a few things. One, I can't believe how many sellers just roll over. In the Facebook groups I'm in, about 80% of the sellers say don't fight it, it's not worth it. 2, the last 5 purchases I've made on eBay have been terrible. 4 were China sellers with American addresses, and the items took over a month to get here. When I ordered them, I searched closest to me so I could weed out the China sellers, only to find them coming from China. Are they China sellers or drop shippers? I don't know, but it sucks. The one American seller I bought from never even shipped. It's aggravating to me as a seller who takes care in what he does. Last thing, I have some used steel and aluminum wheels I'd like to sell. Any advice? Okay, Jason, I agree with everything you're saying. I despise when sellers list their item here in the United States and ship from another country. This is going to come into play in a few minutes when we go to the fitchy eBay Sellers Hall of Shame. But for right now, with Jason's comments, hey man, I totally feel for you. eBay needs to do something about these people that are lying about their location. For now, all you can do is leave them negative feedback. I saw one such person on eBay the other day with like a 96.7% feedback on eBay with a lot of negs, and he's still out there cranking those sales away. I can't believe it. As far as your wheels are concerned, wheels are very expensive to ship. It's going to cost you over $20 per wheel just for shipping, so keep that in mind. The aluminum wheels, if you have something that is in demand, they can be quite pricey. So if they're in good condition, I would definitely suggest you list them. I myself have some listed right now. If you want any pointers about that, I suggest you contact me privately at crazynydriver@aol.com and through no other method. The steel wheels are heavy to ship as well, but they're a lot cheaper than aluminum and they don't break as easily. So I'm not so sure there's going to be a big demand for them. But you can tell me what kind they are if you decide to email me. On sales, St. Paul MN seller wrote, Joe, thanks again, Joe, for the comment. My sales were very, if not the best sales all summer. Yes, like we have discussed in the past, when your sales are numerous, mine were basically in the tank. The last 2 weeks with only 18 sales and 5 shutout days. My main selling category only accounted for just half my sales. Dismal. So I've been scrambling to find something in my inventory that will move. And the last comment, also from St. Paul MN seller, is Joe. Real glad to hear about the mini fitchy got most of his channels whacked. About time YouTube did that. Kudos to you, Jason, and Keith. Okay, that is it for this week's comments. We are now going to get into the meat and potatoes of the video. I think I'm going to start out today with the fitchy eBay Sellers Hall of Shame because it relates to one of the comments I read earlier. So without further ado, let us now segue to the fitchy eBay Sellers Hall of Shame! Hey guys, welcome to another installment on the fitchy eBay Sellers Hall of Shame. I would like to thank one of you subscribers who sent me this particular listing, and I'm going to show you what this guy is doing right now. Here you can see he has an item listed for 99 cents with free shipping, reportedly out of Floral Park, New York. Now, if you scroll down, here he describes the item in detail. Nothing wrong with that. But look right here. Please don't bid on this listing. Product is available via Buy It Now only. Then he puts the link to another listing which will take you to the same thing where it's now $14.99. This is manipulative and this is against eBay rules. Please do not bid on this listing. Now you're probably wondering, what happens if somebody does bid on this listing, thinking it's legit? he cancels every one of them. Look at this. One after the other. And when he cancels them, he says the buyer wanted to cancel even though the buyer didn't. If you look here at the item number, see it ends in 924. We go back to this listing right here where we started out. And there it is again. Ends in 924. The same exact listing. The person who sent me this particular listing has indeed called eBay and opened up a case on this guy. This is the worst case of fitchy seller I have seen in a long time. I have been told that although he lists his location as Floral Park, New York, he's shipping out of India. That's what I was told. This is deceptive and it hurts everybody. I would like your opinions on this week's edition of the Fitchy eBay Sellers Hall of Shame. Let's get back to the video right now. All right, guys, before we discuss that, let me just have a quick drink from the Fox News Cup of Life. Oh, I love it. I love it. Beginning of Memorial Day, and I'm drinking out of the Fox News Cup of Life. For 6 years I've been drinking out of this, and it will be another 26. In the segment I just showed you, that guy is committing so many policy violations, I'm very tempted to call eBay concierge myself and dime him out. The absolute nerve of him to list items for 99 cents with free shipping when there is no chance any bidder will ever get that item for that price. You know what? A thought just came to me. A thought just came to me. I'm not going to do it, but this would work. Imagine if I bid on his item right now, 99 cents or $1.10, and he canceled my listing. That would give me the right to call eBay concierge and make a formal complaint. I'm not going to do that. No. I don't know if anybody else will. But what he's doing is wrong. It's deceptive. He's manipulating the eBay search algorithm and doing so many other infractions. I don't have the time to discuss everything today. So I'm going to leave that in your hands. The public, my fellow eBay sellers. What do you think about that guy? Comments below. And I'd like to thank you to the person who sent me that listing. If any of you guys see anything like that on eBay, send it to me. When it's possible, I'll get action to the email. Send it to the email that I mentioned earlier. Okay? Let's continue. eBay is rolling out a new feature, and most of you guys don't have it, and I don't have it either. It's only being rolled out to the small occasional seller. And it has to do with people watching your item. Let's say you have an item fixed priced for $100 plus shipping. You have 3 people watching it. Some of you guys now have the option to send those 3 watches an offer. Okay? For instance, on your $100 item, you have 3 watches. Let's say you want to make a sale today. You have the option to send an offer today to those 3 people for $75. But not just one person, all 3 people will get the offer. All right? Which is good because it inspires competition. And if one of those guys decides to buy her today, bang, you have a sale. But this is very new. It's just being rolled out, and it's only to the small sellers. So if any of you guys have that option, I'd like to hear about it. eBay for Business announced it the other day on one of their broadcasts, and I watched it. And I thought I'd mention that to you. And I'd like to know if you have it, and if so, have you used it, and how is that going for you? Now, St. Paul MN seller, you're going to be very unhappy, but my last 2 weeks have been my busiest 2 weeks of the summer. My sales have been excellent. No complaints whatsoever. As I said, the summer itself was very slow. The summer itself, I was down 30-something% compared to last year. However, in the last 2 weeks, I'm up 43%. Sales have been really good. I'm optimistic that this trend is going to continue. I'd like to know how you guys did this last week. If you don't mind, comment below and let us know. Because it's the Labor Day weekend, and I know a lot of you guys want to go away, I'm going to have mercy on you today and keep this video unusually short, hopefully in the 20-minute mark. So let's do a quick rehash and I'll let you guys go enjoy your weekend. Number one, please sign the petition on the China e-packets. We need that done. It has to be done. I think the date was September 27th or 28th, but don't quote me. But sign it tonight, all right? It's something that will benefit every eBay and Amazon seller. These China sellers have been running rampant for years and hurting all of our sales. It's about time to bring this to a stop, okay? Enough is enough. You've all complained about them. Now you have the chance to do something. So get up and do something, okay? I'd also like to know what you thought about that very fitchy eBay seller that I showed you earlier with his deceptive 99-cent with free shipping listing that nobody will ever be able to buy. I'm wondering, this is just theory on my part, if that fitchy seller also has to go to the movies alone. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Not a bit. I'm Crazy New York Driver, and you're not. Thanks for watching this video. I'll be back next week with another eBay video. If you think I did a good job this week, please leave me a thumbs up. It tells me I'm appreciated and I'm on the right track. If you didn't think I did a good job, please comment what you want me to read next week and what you want me to focus on, and I'll do my darndest to do it. Guys, I am a seller friend, not a seller critic or skeptic of any kind, and I'm still making money online. Thank you for watching this video. As always, please remember these 3 words. Don't be fitchy! Yeah! Peace.